Hello, football fans. Welcome to our inaugural edition of Casino Regina's Turf TV right here on YouTube. I'm your host, the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Rod Pedersen. We're coming to you from beautiful Mosaic Stadium, just over a week away from the start of Saskatchewan Roughriders Training Camp 2007. Coming up on our inaugural episode, we'll chat with Saskatchewan Roughriders starting quarterback Kerry Joseph. But our very first guest is Rider GM Eric Tillman. We staked him out at the Regina Airport as he returned from a scouting mission in the United States. Roughriders General Manager Eric Tillman joins us on the inaugural edition of Casino Regina's Turf TV. And Eric, as you get back into Regina, just days away from the start of training camp, I bet you just can't wait to get it rolling.
Well, actually, I want to sleep. It's been a 14-hour day, but no, you know what? We're really excited. It's weeks and weeks and months of preparation, hard work by the staff, and the collective effort preparing for this week finally getting here. It's real.
Your roster is changing almost daily, but this week you signed Chris Best and the local kid Ackerman. Having Best, people are pretty excited about it.
He's a terrific young guy, bright, big guy, physical, has a lot of tools. I hope, though, Rod, that people keep it in perspective. It's a little bit like Pinocchio's nose. The tail of Chris Best continues to grow, and people are talking about him coming in here and starting from day one. And I really think that's unfair for him to put that burden on him. We look at him as a 6th or 7th guy. We're going to be patient with him as he grows and develops. We have some terrific linemen and Gino and Jeremy and those guys. And in the off season, we've added some quality guys like Mike Abu and Wayne Smith. And so I think what we've done is we've taken an area that was old, we've made it young. We put Chris in a position that he doesn't have to be thrown to the fire immediately.
On the defense, can you ease some fans' concern about your secondary and the defensive line? That's what I'm hearing the most, is how are we gonna fare on that side of the ball this year?
Well, one of the things that I've learned in this league, and it doesn't matter what the locale is that anytime you guys leave that have name recognition, the assumption is the guys coming in can't possibly play. And I remember that in BC when we had James West and Ty Jones and Jim Mills and some pretty good football players that left after the '93 season, and people thought we were going to be too young and would struggle, and we won the Grey Cup. I have a lot of confidence in Richie and his staff. I think we're going to be I think we'll be young, and there'll be some growing pains, but we'll be very athletic. I think what's incumbent on us is to be much better offensively, to be much better in terms of special teams, in particular in punting and kickoffs and field position, and not ask the defense to be perfect. Give them time to grow and develop. But again, I feel good about the athletes we have on that side of the ball, and I think we'll play very good defense during the course of the year.
And lastly, just regarding the quarterback situation, we're wondering about Drew Tate, released by the St. Louis Rams. Everybody's pretty excited to know if he's coming to camp.
It's a little bit like the Chris Best situation. I've had very good conversations with Drew's people. We'll see what the next few days bring. But even if he does come, there is a steep learning curve, as well as anyone at quarterback, and expect him to come in and be a difference maker this year. I think that's totally unrealistic, just like with Chris Best. He will go through growing pains. He'll learn and develop behind some of the best guys in the league and, have a chance to step forward. Drew has a lot of positives, in terms of athletic ability, competitiveness, the son of a coach, a 4-year starter in a dominant program. If we're fortunate enough to get him, we'll bring a lot to the table. But I think, this year we will go as far as guys like, Kerry and Marcus and Darian take us, and we'll see how that competition shakes out.
And 6'6" Chad Freehoff has raised some eyebrows around the office, if nothing else. What are your expectations of him?
Well, he's a young guy with a lot of ability, but, he and Omar Connor are two young guys that we have here that there'll be some interesting competition there. Chad is a 6'7" guy with a strong arm. Omar is an absolute clone of Kerry Joseph, 6 foot 220, mobile, bazooka on his shoulder. So the great thing about Ken and this staff is that they've made it very clear that no jobs are guaranteed. It's going to be based on performance. It's competition. We'll decide, instead of me telling you tonight what's going to come out of the mix, that will be resolved on the practice field. That's the way it should be, and I think competition brings out the best in athletes.
We're looking forward to it. Eric, thanks for your time.
Good to see you again, pal.
Some very insightful comments from GM Eric Tillman regarding their plans for Chris Best and their pursuit of quarterback Drew Tate. Speaking of quarterbacks, we caught up with the Riders starter, number 4, Kerry Joseph, outside his Regina home. Kerry Joseph, as you get ready for your second training camp as a Saskatchewan Roughrider, can you maybe talk about how you're feeling this year after you've had a year under your belt as opposed to last year at this time?
I feel good. I feel confident, ready to get back at it, and glad to be back in Saskatchewan.
Well, we're glad to have you back, and of course a lot of changes from when you left the field in Vancouver with a new coach, new offensive coordinator. But you're no stranger to Ken Austin. Tell us about your relationship with him.
I feel we have a good relationship. I worked with him my first year coming into the league he was my quarterback coach. And, we're just working with him within a year. You know how demanding he is, but you know also that he's a perfectionist and in a good way. He wants things done right, and he coaches with a lot of energy, so he expects you to play the same way and learn the same way. So it's going to be a lot of fun working with him.
Is that going to help that you have worked with him before? We've heard how demanding he is, but you know firsthand, so you won't be caught off guard by anything.
Yeah, it does help. When you know someone, sometimes things are said, a person wants things done the right way or a certain way, and you understand that, and you understand that person, and it's nothing personal. So it's good to having to know someone going into a relationship and going into a season. So I'm looking forward to it.
Here's the big question. It was pretty evident to all of us that you were hurt last year. I think we've got it pinpointed to the Argo game here. You were never the same after that with your knee. Can you talk about how injured were you?
Well, I had, slightly tore my PCL ligament last year, and it's something that you don't operate on. But you know what? It was enough to let me continue to play. The problem, when I missed the 2 games was I developed a bone bruise that was really causing me the pain. So once I got that healed up, all I just had to do was wear the brace to just kind of support the PCL. And there's a ligament that heals over time, and I did a lot of extensive rehab, and I'm feeling good right now.
It must have really hurt because Ivan Goodfriend told me taking a crane to get you out of a game because you didn't want to miss any action.
You want to be out there for your team. When I had to sit down the 2 games, I just had to come to grips with reality that it was too painful. But I knew it was nothing else I could do worse to the knee. My other ligaments were intact; they were strong enough, and I could play through the PCL. And that's just something I want to go out there and help my team do.
I understand you're 100% now.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, and I'm not even worried about the knee, and going into camp, I'm not going to really talk about the knee. I'm going to be focused on playing football and helping this team get to where we want to get to.
There's a new arm in Chad Freehoff that's going to be here, 6'7" quarterback, and they're talking about bringing Drew Tate in, who I'm sure you're familiar with, just cut from the Rams. Does that competition bother you at all?
It doesn't. Competition is competition. Every day that you come out, you have to compete for your job. And I just go out, learn this system, learn the plays. Whatever coach wants us to do, the way he wants us to read things, that's what I'm going to do and worry about and control what Kerry can control.
Kerry, glad to have you back. Good luck this year.
All right, thanks a lot.
A big thank you to Rider quarterback Kerry Joseph, and also for giving us the scoop that he played last summer on a torn PCL. There, Kerry answered my questions for Casino Regina TurfTV, but he'll answer yours as well at his very own website, kerryjoseph.com. And speaking of things going on around Regina, check out casinoregina.com for their latest event listing in the Show Lounge. Thanks to you for watching Casino Regina TurfTV here on YouTube. We'll talk to you next week.